virtually to the 2025 Fellows Night and Investiture with the theme From Vision to Legacy, Cultivating Leadership that Transcends Generations. Tonight we have with us crème de la society, men who have worked hard to merit being distinguished, and it's a night to confer fellowship to them, and from tonight they call fellows. And we believe it's a night to connect, wine, and dine. Without further ado, I would like to invite to give the welcome remarks on this August auspicious occasion, the Chairman, Fellows and Awards Committee, and the immediate past President of the prestigious Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, Alhaji Tijani M.CIoD, LLM, M.CIoD. Please any sounding and resonating round of applause for him as he comes to give this very important welcome remarks.
Our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Kyari, Abba, Bukar, M.CIoD, and who is the chairman of Sunu Assurance Nigeria PLC, the president and chairman of the governing council, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, M.CIoD, members of the governing council, they are present, past presidents and elders of the institute, distinguished fellows and members of the institute, distinguished business leaders, invited guests, our esteemed partners and sponsors, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. It is with immense pleasure and gratitude that I welcome you all on behalf of the Institute and the Fellows and Awards Committee this year's Fellows Investiture for the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria. This event remains one of the most prestigious gatherings in our Institute's calendar. It's a time to celebrate leadership, excellence, and integrity. Before I proceed, let me make this moment to appreciate our President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, M.CIoD, for his steady leadership, constant support for the works of this committee. I also wish to sincerely thank my colleagues on the Fellows and Awards Committee for their hard work and commitment. Their diligence, integrity, and sense of responsibility have once again ensured a credible and successful selection. Please, can the members of this committee stand up to recognize, please? They are on the table for. Thank you for the good job you have done. The theme for this year's ceremony is From Vision to Legacy, Cultivating Leadership that Transcends Generations. It's both timely and inspiring. It reminds us that leadership is not only about what we achieve today, but also about what and do after we are gone. Vision gives direction, but legacy gives meaning. A true leader sees beyond the present and builds institutions, values, and people who will carry the mission forward beyond that leader. As directors and business leaders, we are called to create lasting impact, to lead with purpose, inspire others, and to leave behind footprints that generations can follow. Our guest speaker, Mr. Kyari Abba, Bukar, M.CIoD, is a respected business leader whose experience and transformative impacts across his organizations he has served or is currently serving. This speaks directly to the team. We thank you for honoring our invitation and we look forward to the wisdom you will share with us tonight. Haji Bukar, thank you very much. our newly conferred distinguished fellows, and honorary fellows, I extend my heartfelt congratulations. This conferment is not merely a recognition of past accomplishment, but a reaffirmation of the trust reposed on you to continue to build capacity in wherever you find yourself. For our fellows and distinguished fellows, this honor signifies entry into the higher echelon of responsibility, a call to embody the finest ideals of the Institute, that is, integrity, professionalism, and ethical governance. You are now standard bearers of the Institute and you uphold the values, and your conduct must continually reflect the excellence and leadership that is distinctive with your role. To honorary fellows, though not members of the Institute, your induction today is a testimony to the exemplary contributions you have made to leadership and nation building. We welcome you into our fold with respect and admiration, confident that your association will further enrich the ideals you promote, that is, the ideals of good corporate governance. Together, we will continue to advance the frontiers of good governance and reposition leadership in our nation and beyond. As we celebrate tonight, let us remember that true leadership is not measured by titles or wealth, but by the lives we touch and the standards we set. Let us continue to mentor others, strengthen our institutions, and contribute to the building of a nation that reflects the ideals of good governance and responsible leadership. Once again, on behalf of the Fellows and Awards Committee, I welcome you all most sincerely, and I hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you very much.
Please a round of applause once again for our Chairman, Fellows and Awards Committee, Alhaji Tijani M. Orodo. Thank you very much for that welcome remarks that you just gave. I'd like to warmly welcome the DG and CEO, Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria, Dr. Taiwo Nolas Alausa, M.CIoD. Please a round of applause for a brand new DG. I would wish you a very wonderful tenure. Okay, we now like to invite to give the remarks coming from the President and Chairman, Governing Council of Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, M.CIoD. Please, let's put our hands together and make him welcome as he comes to give this very important remarks on this august and auspicious occasion. Our dinner will soon be served. Please can we join our hands once again for our own President and Chairman, Governing Council.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't help notice when we were singing the national anthem that the ladies leading the band were reading the national anthem from their phones. I bring this up because my son often tells me that anybody who can sing that national anthem, by heart, without reading, are part of the people who spoil Nigeria. Anyway, let me get to my speech. The guest speaker of the occasion is Kyari Abba, Bukar, M.CIoD, Chairman, Sunu Assurance, Nigeria PLC, the Chairman of the Fellows and Awards Ceremony, Alhaji Tijani M. Orodo, LLM, DFCIOD, past presidents and elders of the Institute present here today, and I must specifically recognize my mentor, my uncle, Chief Olusegun Oshukeye, CON, OFR, M.CIoD. Members of the Governing Council of CIoD, they are present. Fellows and members of CIoD, including our new Abba fellows and their valued guests, our supportive sponsors and partners, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by saying that the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. Ralph Nader. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this momentous occasion. The investiture of new fellows, honorary fellows, and distinguished fellows of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. This event marks a significant milestone in the lives of our inductees, who have demonstrated exceptional leadership, ethics, and commitment to the highest standards of corporate governance. CIoD Nigeria confers fellowship status annually on deserving members who have meritoriously distinguished themselves in the service of the Institute in various capacities. The Institute also examines their contributions to the success stories of their respective sectors, and it is therefore always glorious when these respectable ladies and gentlemen are formally inducted into this elite group of the Institute during the annual Fellows Night and Investiture ceremony. Usually there are three categories of fellows in the Institute as approved by the Governing Council, and they are as follows: fellows, honorary fellows, and distinguished fellows. I'm proud to inform you that today, after a diligent examination of deserving members and by the Fellows and Awards Committee of the Institute, headed by the distinguished immediate past president, Alhaji Tijani Mborodo, DF-CIOD, tonight our awardees have been found worthy to wear the prestigious title of Honorary Fellows and Fellows of the Institute. On behalf of the Governing Council and members of our great institute, I want to sincerely thank and appreciate the Chairman and members of the Fellows and Awards Committee for a job well done. Please give them a round. The Chartered Institute of Directors has always been at the forefront of promoting sound governance and ethical leadership. Our fellows are the embodiment of these principles, and the induction of new fellows today reaffirms our commitment to fostering a culture of excellence in the boardroom and beyond. While I congratulate and share in the joy of our new fellows, I need to remind you that this esteemed status you have attained today comes with a lot of responsibilities, honor, respect, and expectations in the daily conduct of your corporate and private lives. The Institute also confers honorary fellowship status on deserving individuals who are not necessarily CIoD members, but have contributed to the growth and development of the Institute in one way or the other, and the country as a whole. And the distinguished fellowship status on deserving fellows who have served the Institute meritoriously and have distinguished themselves in various capacities while making notable contributions to the success of their respective organizations in particular and to the country in general. As leaders of the Institute, we expect more participation from you and more commitment to the cause of the Institute. I have seen among the list of new fellows people that have served the Institute in various capacities, and hopefully I urge the other fellows who have not been that active to really take this as a turning point and for them to support the Institute in greater measure than what they have done in the past. Even more than before, the Institute expects you to be worthy ambassadors of M.CIoD Nigeria as champions of good corporate governance, sound business ethics, exemplary leadership qualities. I'm confident that you all will not let the Institute down as I welcome you to the fold of esteemed and highest valued membership of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. I'm happy to welcome into our midst today our guest speaker, Mr. Kyari, Abba, Bukar, M.CIoD, Chairman, Sunu Assurance Nigeria PLC, who will address this gathering themed from vision to legacy, cultivating leadership that transcends generations. Today's theme is a powerful one. It is a reminder that the work of a leader is not just about what you achieve for yourself, but what you build for those who will come after you. A vision is an idea. It is the spark of an insight, the blueprint for a better future. The audacious dream that lives in the mind of a leader. It is the recognition that the world as it is not all that it can be. History is not written by those who simply accept the status quo, but by those who have the courage to imagine something different, something better. Think of the pioneers of public health who envisioned a world free of preventable diseases, the innovators in technology who foresaw a globe connected by information, or the leaders in civil rights who held a vision of a more just and equitable society. Their visions were the first, most crucial step, the beginning of a journey. The true test of a leader is not in having a vision, but in transforming it into a legacy. In conclusion, esteemed fellows, let us embrace this moment as an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to sound leadership, excellence, integrity, and good corporate governance. Together, let us work tirelessly to advance the mission and vision of the Chartered Institute of Directors. Today's ceremony is not only a celebration of individual achievement, but also a testament to the collective pursuit of excellence in our profession. I charge our new fellows, honorary fellows, and distinguished fellows of the Institute to continue to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, and accountability. As leaders in your respective fields, you have the power to shape the future of our nation. I am confident that your contributions will be invaluable in driving positive change and ensuring the success of the public and private sectors in Nigeria. It is something of rare privilege and honor to have gathered this evening such eminent personalities in Nigeria as we have in our midst. May I most respectfully welcome all the celebrants and their amiable guests. We thank you all for accepting the invitation to come. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all and welcome you to this august occasion. We are honored by your presence. And before I take my seat, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we lost a man who I can only describe as an icon, a giant in the corporate world and public service in Nigeria, in the person of Dr. Christopher Coliseum, CON, M.CIoD. He is a man who has been described as integrity personified. When you are looking for somebody who can really tell you what the whole concept of integrity is about, that is a man who touched many lives, many of them in this room. I had the opportunity, I was taught by him at the Lagos Business School. I was mentored by him. At some point, he was the chairman of the Society for Corporate Governance, in which I also have the privilege of serving on the board. He has touched many people's lives. So today, as I round up my comments this evening rather, may I crave your indulgence. Please stand for a minute in remembrance of this great Nigeria. May the soul of Dr. Christopher Colade, C.O.N.E.F.C.I.O.D., and all the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated.
Let's put our hands together for the presidential remarks given by our own President and Chairman of the Government Council, M.CIoD Nigeria, Otumba Adetunji Oyubanji, M.CIoD. Yes, while he was giving his presidential remarks, we had our 9th President and Chairman of Government Council come in. Please join me to make welcome our past President, Mr. Femi Ekundayo, D.F.CIoD. You're welcome, sir. We've had 2 speeches this evening, and before we have the 3rd one, which is the keynote, the guest speaker's presentation, I'd like to once again welcome us to this august and auspicious occasion, the 2025 Fellows Night and Investiture, put together by the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. And we have eminent personalities here, as our president has stated. We are delighted having you here. Welcome. Bonsoir à tout le monde. Nous sommes très, très heureux pour savoir que vous êtes ici avec nous. Nous savons que vous êtes ici pour féliciter avec nous. Le programme de cette nuit est très, très important. Le programme vise à promouvoir l'excellence dans la société et nous croyons que vous allez profiter de le programme de cette nuit. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren, und herzlich willkommen hier. Ich freue mich sehr gerne hier zu sein mit Ihnen und ehrlich gesagt, ich wünsche Ihnen eine wunderbare und spannende Erfahrung. Buenos tardes, señoras y señores. Estoy muy feliz de estar aquí con vosotros. Me llamo M.CIoD, soy nigeriano. Trabajo aquí. Ha sido una experiencia muy interesante y maravillosa. So, domin ku da kuka zo daga arewa, addai tsohon shugabanmu na wannan kungiyar da wanda zai mana abin nan dai zai kawo mana sako. Mun gode kwarai da gaske cewa an gaici ku zuwa wannan taro mai muhimmanci kuma kun taho wato kun zo. Allah madaukakin sarki ya saka muku da alheri. Allah shi biya bukata. Allah shi ja zamani. Kamar yadda muka saba da addu'o'in mu. Akoba, Adaba, Adaba. Olumaji Kyari. Odoromaya na n'ọgbakọ nke taa, anyị nwere ndị na-aghọta asụsụ m na asụsụ kịta. Ndị Igbo anyị eji m ohere ma na-anabata unu n'ọgbakọ nke taa. Odoromaya na ihe niile anyị na-eme n'abalị a ga-aga nke ọma. Udo dịrị unu maka na ebe ọbụla a na-eme ihe ọma, ọ bụrụ na ndị Igbo anọghị ebe ahụ, odoromaya na ihe a na-eme n'ebe ahụ ọ daba ahụ. Udo dịrị unu. Ana m achọ ka ihe niile na-aga siriri. Bidogo ka ihe niile na-aga siriri. Wẹ́rẹ́rẹ́ odòdì lákòótọ́ mo kí gbogbo yín elédè Yorùbá ẹ káàárọ̀ oòjíire pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sí abala tí a wà nínú ẹ̀ láṣálẹ́ yìí. Ó dá mi lójú pé a ó jọ gbádùn ètò ti àṣálẹ́ yìí. Olóríire ni gbogbo wa tí a wà níbí báyìí. Mo fẹ́ kí ẹ kọjú sí ẹni tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín. Wọ́n gbédè yín, wọ́n gbédè yín, ẹ dákun ẹ bá mi kí wọ́n pé ẹ kú oríire. Ẹ kú oríire. Thank you very much. My name is M.CIoD, and I'm the master of ceremony for today's August auspicious, conspicuous, illustrious,
event put together by the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria. At this point, I'd like to bring forward to us the guest speaker for tonight. He is the chairman of Sunu Assurance Nigeria PLC. He served as the CEO, Africa Operations of Inlux Limited, and had also served as managing director, CEO of Central Securities Clearing Systems PLC, the Central Securities Depository of Nigerian capital markets. And during his five-year tenure, he spearheaded a company-wide program of culture change that resulted in a fourfold increase in profitability in the midst of the most recent global economic crisis. As Managing Director, CEO of ValueCard Nigeria PLC, now Unified Payment System, he spearheaded a complete reorganization of ValueCard, transforming the local e-payment loss generator into one of the most secure, technologically advanced and profitable payments processors in the region. Mr. Bukar was instrumental in introducing Visa cards into the Nigerian e-payment space and writing the rules that have underpinned the phenomenal growth in the sector. He was also a former chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. As a highly sought-after business advisor, Mr. Bukar is the chairman of Ventures Platform, a pan-African early-stage venture capital fund. He is also an independent non-executive director of Development Bank of Nigeria. He was on the boards of Standard Chartered Bank Nigeria Limited and CRC Credit Bureau Limited. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before us, I would like you to join me to make welcome here, articulate, and cerebral, sought after guest speaker on national and international platforms, Mr. Kyari Bukar, M.CIoD, Chairman, Sunu Assurances Nigeria PLC, as he comes to give the guest speaker's presentation. If your hands are not busy, please a resounding, resonating, reverberating round of applause from an icon, a pillar of excellence.
The President and Chairman of Council, Nigerian Chartered Institute of Directors, distinguished members of the Governing Council, one of the former presidents, Chief Segun Osunke, I was reminiscing with UK that my first company direction course was taught by him a little over 25 years ago. Thank you for being a shaper of leaders, sir. Thank you. I would like to also mention that among the new fellows, incoming fellows, is a colleague of mine, Dr. Agada Apochi. So before anybody else congratulates you, let me take this opportunity of congratulating you as the person that took over the mantle of leadership of Unified Payments from Moab. The President and Chairman of Council had stolen my thunder by announcing the 1-minute silence for Sir Christopher Kolade. He was also one of my lecturers at Lagos Business School. And he and I occasionally have discussed the subject that is very dear to his heart, which is Nigeria. And I think this theme is something that should resonate very well with all the incoming fellows. Becoming a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria is not merely an honorific title. It is a call to a higher duty. It affirms that you have distinguished yourself as a leader, a professional, and a steward of institutions. But the question that lingers is, what kind of leadership are we cultivating? Is it transactional and therefore temporary? Or is it visionary, ethical, and enduring? The theme of From Vision to Legacy, cultivating leadership that transcends generations, is deeply relevant to the Nigerian context and indeed the global environment in which directors and executives now operate. As industries evolve, societies demand accountability, and institutions face increasing complexity. The measure of true leadership is no longer limited to quarterly numbers. It is about building legacies that endure beyond the individual, influencing not just one generation, but many. Understanding the concept of legacy in leadership. A vision is forward-looking. It defines where you want to go. A legacy is backward-looking. It defines what you left behind or what you leave behind. But in reality, vision and legacy are two sides of the same coin. Legacy is the harvest of vision consistently executed time over time. Great leaders, whether in business, government, or civil society, do not just occupy positions. They create pathways. They are architects of possibility. Their legacies are not building or balance sheets alone, but values, systems, and cultures that survive over time. For Nigerian directors, legacy is especially important. In an environment where corporate mortality rates are high, where family-owned businesses often collapse after the founder's exit, I call it the curse of the scions, and where governance lapses can erase decades of progress, building legacies is the antidote to those fragilities. The Nigerian and African context. Leadership legacies in Nigeria have been mixed. We celebrate visionaries like Dr. Michael Okpara, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, who are and remain the embodiment of nation building. Yet, we also witness organizations that crumble after leadership transitions, public institutions that decay from neglect, and communities where leaders fail to sow seeds for the future. This paradox highlights the urgency of cultivating directors who transcend short-termism. In a country of over 200 million people, blessed with abundant resources, yet challenged by poverty, inequality, and governance deficits, directors must think generationally. Your legacy must outlast your tenure. In fact, it should and must outlast your life. Every legacy begins with a vision. Vision is not a slogan. It is clarity of purpose. It is the ability to see beyond constraints and imagine a better future. For directors, vision requires strategic foresight, anticipating industry trends, regulatory shifts, and technological disruptions. Purpose alignment, ensuring that organizations' missions resonate with societal needs. And of course, moral imagination, considering not just what is profitable, but what is just and sustainable. Examples abound. The founders of GT Bank envisioned a modern African financial institution driven by innovation and professionalism. That vision reshaped the Nigerian banking industry. In the non-profit space, the Tony Elumelu Foundation envisioned democratizing entrepreneurship across Africa. Today, thousands of entrepreneurs testify to that impact. A leader without a vision is a manager of the present. A leader with a vision is a shaper of the future. Vision alone does not build legacy. The bridge is execution. But leaders translate dreams into reality. Execution is not just about strategy documents, but about creating cultures, systems, and people who carry the vision forward. Key drivers of execution include governance structures, that's institutions, outlive, or individuals. When governance is codified, strong boards, transparent processes, and checks and balances. Succession planning. A leader who fails to raise successors is writing an obituary, not a legacy. Talent development. The next generation must be mentored, empowered, and trusted. And then, more importantly, institutional memory. Documentation is very important. Knowledge management is critical, and preservation of the core values of those institutions ensure continuity. Without execution, vision remains rhetoric. With disciplined execution, vision becomes culture. It gets codified into the DNA of those institutions, and cultures endure. If legacy is to endure, it must be anchored on timeless values. Consider the following pillars: integrity, service, resilience. Integrity. In a society where corruption corrodes trust, integrity is non-negotiable. Legacies collapse when values are compromised. Service. True leaders see themselves as custodians, not owners of the organizations they run. Resilience. Generational leadership requires withstanding shocks, economic downturns, political instabilities, technological disruptions. Inclusiveness. Leaders who cultivate diversity and empower women, youth, and marginalized voices create legacies that resonate across society. Sustainability. Today's directors must think beyond profit and extend to the planet and people. a legacy that destroys the environment or ignores social impact is a poisoned gift. Transgenerational leadership in practice. How does one deliberately build leadership that transcends generations? Several practices are essential. One, mentorship and sponsorship. Senior leaders must cultivate, actively mentor emerging directors, shining emerging stars within the organizations, executives, and also cultivate entrepreneurship. Institutionalization. Build organizations that thrive without you. Codify values, processes, and culture. Intergenerational dialogue. Blend the wisdom of elders with the creativity of youth. Boards should be diverse. Age, gender, perspectives, outlook, etc., etc. Stewardship mindset. Recognize the leadership is temporary, but institutions are permanent. Lead as though you are holding the baton for the next runner. Global benchmarking. Learn from international best practices while adapting them to our local realities. In corporate Nigeria, I give one or two examples. Dangote Group, built from a trading company that was buying and selling commodities into Africa's largest conglomerate, and now transitioning into industrial manufacturing and refining, essentially going from just trading into now adding value and being tangible. And the vision was long-term, and it still is long-term. And with succession planning being tested, because that's one of the challenges that Dangote Group will face in the next decade or two. First Bank of Nigeria. It has been around for over, about 130 years? Now that's a very sustainable institution. It has survived quite a number of governance issues. Demonstrates the power of institutional governance beyond individuals. We can do case studies after case studies of those institutions. The other example I want to cite are family-owned institutions, and many Nigerian family businesses fail after the founder's death. And that is due to poor succession planning. And basically that means that the lesson is very clear. Legacy is not inheritance. I repeat, legacy is not inheritance. It is institutional continuity. What about if we go outside of Nigeria or outside of Africa? Apple Inc. nearly collapsed when the founder, one of the founders, was fired by the board. That was Steve Jobs. So from Steve to Tim Cook, vision was institutionalized. The company thrives despite leadership transitions. By the way, Apple Inc. case study is one of the courses I teach at the Chartered Institute of Directors. Thank you. It's an interesting case study of corporate governance when the board begins to lead because of vacuum of the founder. Tata Group, which is an Indian company, it's over 150 years old. The founder of Tata built everything on ethics. And the ethos of ethics community service, and innovation has survived multiple generations of leaders. Now, what challenges do we face building legacy in Nigeria? While the aspiration is noble, directors face daunting challenges. One, weak institutions, overdependence on one or two individuals, and that make continuity fragile. Two, short-termism, quarter after quarter. Pressure for immediate profit undermines long-term vision. Three, regulatory uncertainties. That's something outside of the organization. So frequent policy changes discourage strategic investment. But leaders need to look at that and work despite those challenges. And fourth, corruption and governance failures. Legacies collapse where ethical lapses thrive. And of course, jackpot, brain drain. Talent flight undermines succession pipeline. And that also has to do with what I call the audit of the company or the corporate values. Because the brain drain is not necessarily leaving the country. People leaving your organization for other organizations because they felt that the values are not congruent to those successful or hardworking or highly performing individuals. But challenges also create opportunities for bold leadership. Fellows of M.CIoD must model resilience, innovation, and ethical leadership. And as a fellow, your affiliation with M.CIoD Nigeria offers a unique platform to shape transgenerational leadership. The institution is not just a professional body. It is a guardian of governance standards, a convener of thought leadership, and a community of peers committed to ethical leadership. Through its advocacy, training, and fellowship network, the Institute empowers directors to embed best practices, strengthen institutions, prepare successors. As a fellow, you are now both and a custodian of this legacy, of this tradition. Practical steps for new fellows. I'm not a fellow, but I'm just making some suggestions. To move from vision to legacy, consider these actions. One, craft a legacy statement. Something about the values, the impact, and institutions you want to leave behind. That means that you're actually writing your own legacy journal or legacy statement. Two, institutionalize governance. Ensure that your organization has transparent boards, audited systems, and codified processes. Three, mentor at least 5 successors. At least 5 successors. If every director, every fellow and member of M.CIoD would do that, Nigeria would be a better place. Commit to mentoring emerging leaders who will carry forward the values. 4, champion sustainability. Embed environmental and social impact into whatever organization's DNA you found yourself. 5, engage nationally, volunteer. Just like the president and chairman of governing council mentioned earlier, as fellows, please volunteer, please participate in the activities of M.CIoD. 6, write and document. Leave behind books, journals, and I'm also to blame. Many people are asking me to write books. Policies, frameworks that future generations can learn from. Number 7, balance profit with purpose. Pursue excellence, not just in financial returns, but in societal contribution. So my personal reflections for you fellows, as you reflect on your journey to fellowship, ask yourself, what problem am I solving for future generations? How will my organization perform when I'm no longer there? What values will people associate with my leadership 50 years from today? Have I prepared successors who can adapt to the future? Legacy is intentional. It is written not at retirement parties, but every day in the choices you make. The essence of leadership is not power, but influence that endures. Vision gives direction. Legacy gives meaning. To cultivate leadership that transcends generations, directors must blend foresight with execution, values with systems, personal ambition with societal impact. As a new fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, you are now entrusted with the responsibility of thinking generationally. The true measure of your leadership will not be the titles you held, the companies you grew, the wealth you amassed. It will be the lives you touched, the institutions you strengthened, and the values you preserved for posterity. May your vision be bold, your execution disciplined, and your legacy eternal. Amen. Thank you.
Please a round of applause once again for that very beautifully delivered speech by our keynote speaker, Mr. Kyari Bukar, M.CIoD, Chairman Sunu Assurances Nigeria PLC. He's giving us very powerful nuggets, and I hope they've sunk in as we make progress as leaders distinguished, directors distinguished. Merci beaucoup. At this juncture, we want to make progress, and I'd like to invite for the oath taken by the new fellows, Mrs. Amina Oyagbola, F.CIoD, the first Vice President, CIoD Nigeria. If your hands are not busy, please jam it together as she comes forward to direct the oath taken. Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, President and Chairman of Council, distinguished past presidents, distinguished members of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors, fellows and members of this distinguished body. My task is simple. Mr. President had asked me before I proceed to carry out the pledge and the affirmation to just remind all of us that the flagship event of the Chartered Institute of Directors, which is our annual Directors Conference, is holding essentially from the 21st to the 23rd. We'll be teeing off on the 21st of October with the ceremonial golf tee-off for the lovers of golf in Abuja from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And of course, the conference will commence on the 22nd to the 23rd of October. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. and would like all of you to help us to spread the word and ensure that we have full attendance. We have a loaded program for you. If you got here early, you would have seen the ADC video playing and all the fantastic speakers that have been assembled by the excellent planning committee. And so many distinguished people here. So nice to see you all. And let me proceed to the task at hand, which is to carry out the fellowship pledge and affirmation. So I would like to ask you most respectfully, all fellows that are being inducted today, to kindly stand up where you are seated. Thank you. And what we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to kindly repeat after me, hopefully in unison. And the first line, let me just explain. I will just say I, and you repeat your name. And then we proceed to say, I, Amina Oyagbola, hereby affirm and pledge, and then we continue. So on the count of 3, we shall commence. 1, 2, 3. I hereby affirm and pledge that I am a fit and proper person to enter into the office of a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. And I will faithfully execute the office of a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. I shall strive always for the highest ethical standards, professionalism, and good corporate governance in business and private endeavors. I have received a copy of the M.CIoD Code of Ethics for members of the Institute. I have read and I understand its contents and agree to adhere to the principles and policies outlined in the code. I have also read and I understand the M.CIoD conflict of interest policy and its contents. I agree to comply with
to comply with
provisions
the
and
provisions
recuse myself
and recuse myself
deliberations
from
and
deliberations
voting on contracts,
and voting on contracts,
transactions,
transactions,
activities or arrangements,
notice arrangements,
and acts whatsoever
and acts
that
whatsoever
give rise
that could give
to a
rise
conflict of interest.
to a conflict of interest.
I will,
I will,
of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve
preserve
and defend
and
the
defend
Constitution
the
of the
Constitution
Federal Republic of Nigeria
of the Federal Republic of
and the
Nigeria
rules,
and the rules,
regulations, and
regulations,
policy directions
and policy
of the
directions
Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria.
of the Chartered Institute of Directors of
So
Nigeria.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
everyone. And I think the expectation is that you will, put your name at the bottom of the pledge and affirmation form, sign it off, date it, and kindly hand it over to a member of the M.CIoD secretariat before you depart today. Let me also seize the opportunity to also ask all of us to give another resounding applause to our guest speaker, That was a truly, truly amazing speech or address on the theme. I was taking copious notes, and I hope we all were as well. Thank you so much for that address. Thank you very much indeed.
Please, let's put our hands together for our first Vice President, Mrs. Amina Oyagbola, M.CIoD. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to mention and notice the presence of Her Excellency Mrs. Bamidele Dapo Abiodun, First Lady of Ogun State and wife of the Executive Governor. Please a resounding round of applause for Her Excellency. She's right before us here. Thank you for gracing this occasion. We will be making progress now with the conferment of fellows. May I respectfully invite the Director of Membership and Branch Development, Mr. Kene Wanibu, M.CIoD, to please come forward and direct the affairs. Now, while he's coming, I'd like to graciously recognize a past president, Chief Eniola Fadayomi, D.F.CIoD. Please a round of applause for her. You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. President, very distinguished members, we're moving swiftly to the next item on the agenda, which is the conferment of fellows, distinguished fellows, and honorary fellows of the Institute. May I respectfully invite the President, Chief Host of today, to come on stage, accompanied by the host for today, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, Chairman of the Fellows and Awards Committee, and also the first Vice President, Mrs. Amina Oyagbola, the second Vice President, Alhaji Lamistiko, who I understand is in the hall already.
Dr. Iyala Hari is a fellow of many years standing. He has contributed immensely, and for all of us here, he, over the years, has served with us on one committee or the other. He was, at a time, the pilot in the Port Harcourt branch of the Institute. I remember very vividly on many occasions where we will have meetings, and when I say, are there any questions, I can be sure that Dr. Hari will say, Mr. Chairman, one question. So he definitely is somebody who is actively involved in whatever he does, and definitely has been a major contributor to the success of the Chartered Institute of Directors. So it is with great honor that I would like to present this plaque to you today, Thursday, 9th of October, as a distinguished fellow now, the rarefied distinguished fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Moving swiftly to the honorary fellowship category. The first recipient of the honorary fellowship category award is Professor Fabian Ajogu, SAN. Please do come on stage.
Professor Ajogu has succeeded in doing something I tried to do today, and I did not succeed. He has succeeded in being in two places at the same time. Today is the 20th anniversary dinner of the Society for Corporate Governance. Earlier in the morning, the annual conference of the Institute of the Society took place. I was supposed to be there to emulate Professor Ajogu, but I was unable to perform the miracle of being in two places at the same time. Now, for those of you who do not know Professor Ajogu. And in fact, if you say you are in the corporate governance space and you don't know him, all I can say is I think we should pray for you. Because what Professor Ajogu does not know about corporate governance cannot fill a matchbox. When South Africa is proud and says we have Professor Melvin King, we can stand even taller to say we have Professor Fabian Ajogu. The man is not only a professor, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria. And if it is book, he has written book. If it is paper, he has delivered paper on this subject of corporate governance. So today, I feel very honored and very privileged to have this opportunity. I am very excited about giving out this award this evening because he has done so much. And today, with this honorary fellowship, Professor Ajogu, please understand that your constituency is no longer only the Society for Corporate Governance. Your constituency is corporate governance itself. So any organization, any entity that has to do with corporate governance in Nigeria is your baby. So it is my privilege, my honor this evening to present this honorary fellowship award to you, Professor Fabian Ajogu. So you are now Professor Fabian Ajogu. I think, which one should I start with? SAN, HF-CIOD, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, OFR, if I'm not mistaken. So it is my honor and privilege to present this to you.
My brother. Congrats.
Thank you very much, sir. The second recipient of the Honorary Fellowship Award, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, HF.CIOD.
Behold the taxman cometh. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is an award that is a bit bittersweet for me. Let me explain. It is bittersweet because of the work this gentleman has done. It is highly likely that from January, my tax bill may be higher. So ordinarily, if his name had come up, I would have been the first to say, Lai, this man who is going to increase my tax. However, there's a Nigerian saying, very interesting Nigerian saying, which goes like, you go explain tire, but no evidence. Why do I say this? When the body that was to reform our tax laws in Nigeria was put in place, the challenges started almost immediately. The first one was, why have they been given such a big budget? And what did Mr. Oyedele do? He explained. Then it went to the National Assembly. Where is VAT going? Who is collecting it? What did Mr. Oyedele do? He explained. And then he continued. At every stage, he kept on explaining and explaining. Even today, he was still explaining. The man has never been tired of explaining. But More importantly, the tax reform that has taken place is nothing short of a revolution. It is so fundamental to Nigeria and the future of Nigeria that if today we were unveiling a statue of this man, it wouldn't be out of place, because he has done so much and contributed, even up to the extent that at some time even his life became something of an endangered species. So in our own small way, as the Chartered Institute of Directors, this is our own way to honor your contribution, so that it's an example to people who don't understand that service doesn't always come with big financial rewards, but it's about the contribution we can make and the legacy that we leave behind. So on behalf of the Institute, the Council, and the members, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to present to you this Honorary Fellowship Award for all the great work you have done and your contributions you have made to Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir.
He explained a lot on the economic session. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, we're moving straight to the fellowship category. And in no particular order, the first recipient of the fellowship award is Dr. Valentine Ezuru, Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Dr. Valentine Ezuru, please do come on stage.
That's the mic.
No, I'm not going to.
Mr. Kazim Adebuega, Fellow of the Institute. Please do come on stage. Dr. Olufemi Aledejebi, Fellow of the Institute. Please do come on stage. Mrs. Ivana Osage, Fellow of the Institute, please do come on stage. Thank you. Mr. Christian Omoru, Fellow of the Institute, please come on stage. Mr. Christian Omoru. Dr. Fatumata Koka, Fellow of the Institute.
I may be a bit partial this time around. Fatumata has done excellently well for the Institute. I think a year or 2 years ago, she was the chairman of our ADC committee that put up a wonderful conference in Abuja. So for those who are wondering and who feel fellowships are just for nothing, it is because of the effort and contribution of the people that we have honored today. So on behalf of the council, we say thank you very much for all the efforts and everything you have done.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Alhaji Farouk Yola, Fellow of the Institute. Thank you. Dr. Janet Adetu, Fellow of the Institute.
Okay, I'd like to say a few words too. Mrs. Adetu is the vice chairman of our women's group. So she's also somebody who is very active in contributing. I'm saying this so that those fellows who are not doing anything, and I'm looking at some of them, they are looking at me, you have to get involved, okay? If you can't, because of time, you can't get involved, your checkbook can also get involved. So congratulations.
Thank you. Mrs. Olufola Kemi Adewale, Fellow of the Institute.
Okay, in this case, should I say it runs in the family? We are very grateful to Chief Oshukeye, to Mr. Oshukeye, for all the things that you have all done. And somebody from the family is contributing every day in different ways At my investiture, she was running up and down, going up and down. You know, I almost thought, are you the one celebrating? This effort was so much. So on behalf of the Institute, we present this to you as a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria.
Mr. Rotimi Odushola, Fellow of the Institute. Thank you very much. Mrs. Ekiru Anumudu, Fellow of the Institute.
Okay. The plaque is coming while we're waiting for the plaque. I'm not saying anything, but I know that she's going to be more active going forward. And I've also offered the opportunity to buy the activity if she's too busy. So on behalf of the council, I present this to you as a fellow of the Institute.
Mrs. Christabel Onyejekwe, Fellow of the Institute.
Madam Artificial Intelligence.
Thank you. Mr. Abdurrahman Yunusa, Fellow of the Institute.
Thank you very much. Odua Group is in the house. Congratulations. You are now a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Directors.
Thank you. Dr. Kate Issa, Fellow of the Institute.
I will tell my wife I saw you. I will tell her that you got an award today.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dapo Oshinusi, Fellow of the Institute. Thank you. Sir Amobi Walker-For, Fellow of the Institute. Mr. Ayodeji Dada, Fellow of the Institute. Mrs. I beg your pardon, Mrs. Ella Bisu, Fellow of the Institute.
Again, what I must say is that if you are too busy, Glow can help us.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. President, Pastor Kings Akuma, Fellow of the Institute. Mr. President, that concludes the conferment of the Fellowship Awards category. The next presentation, Mr. President, is the presentation of a plaque to our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Kyari Bukar. Mr. Bukar, sir. Mr. Kyari.
Hold it for me first. Let's move. Mr. Kyari Bukar, our guest speaker, on behalf of the Chartered Institute of Directors, may I present this to you as an appreciation of the paper you have presented to us. And let me assure you, do not get you get the new fellows. I saw many of them taking copious notes. We'll go through a test and see whether they're practicing them. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. That concludes the conferment awards.
All right. After the conferment of fellows, to show appreciation, I'd like to call on Dr. Fatoumata Koka, F.CIoD, to please come forward and do the honors. Please put your hands together for Dr. Fatoumata Koka, F.CIoD.
Thank you, Mr. Seven, speaking different language MC. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished President, First Vice, Second, members of the Council, fellows, honorees tonight, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Well, my job is easy. So on behalf of all the newly confirmed fellows of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, I would like to say a heartfelt thank you for this honor. Today is a special day for us, not just because we have received a new title, but because it marks a new level of responsibility. Being named a fellow is more than recognizing the past work we've done, all of us have done in the past. It is actually a challenge to do even more, to lead with a vision. And like our keynote speaker said earlier, vision. To lead with a vision, to uphold to the highest standards corporate governance, and to serve as an example in our various sectors, our various companies, our various homes, and our communities. We are proud to join the ranks of those who have helped shape the business and corporate governance in Nigeria. We recognize that the work ahead is even more important than what we have left behind. To the council and the leadership of the Institute, thank you for your trust in us. We do not take this lightly. We will continue to support the mission of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. We will mentor, continue to mentor emerging leaders, to promote ethical practice, to promote not only in business, but in all works of our lives, and to have a forward-thinking leadership that brings innovation to all Nigerians. Once again, we are deeply honored and we look forward to working and walking on this path to dedicate more and more of our time, especially volunteering. A lot of us leaders need to understand in leadership, you must volunteer your time. Time is a currency that is priceless, and time is the only currency that truly bring about change. Thank you. Thank you, God, for having this opportunity to be here. Thank to all of our members and especially the staff of M.CIoD for all you do. Thank you for the directors. Thank you for all those that have volunteered this evening to make this day wonderful. God bless all of you. God bless the Charter Institute of Nigeria. And God bless Nigeria. Have a great evening, everyone.
As we close, I'd like to invite the DG and CEO, Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, Dr. Taiwo Nolas Alausa, M.CIoD, to please come forward and give the vote of thanks. If your hands are not busy, kindly put your hands together for our DG. The President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, M.CIoD, the Chairman, Fellows and Awards Committee, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, the M.CIoD, our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Kyari Bukar, M.CIoD, past presidents and elders of the Institute, fellows, council members, inductees, distinguished members, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. It is with deep gratitude and joy that I stand before you this evening to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Governing Council and Secretariat of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. It is with deep gratitude. Tonight we celebrate excellence, integrity, and leadership, the hallmarks of fellowship in our great institute. This occasion, themed From Vision to Legacy, Cultivating Leadership that Transcends Generations, reminds us that leadership is not just about achievement, but about impact, about building enduring values and decisions that outlive us. To our chief host, our dear President Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji of M.CIoD, we thank you for your vision and steadfast leadership in advancing the mission of M.CIoD Nigeria. To our host, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, the M.CIoD, your unwavering commitment and dedication to the Fellows and Awards Committee have ensured the continued excellence of this event. Our effort appreciation also goes to our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Kyari Bukar, M.CIoD, for your insightful and inspiring address. I have personally taken note of from your address, sir. Lessons, a lot of nuggets. Your reflections on leadership, governance, and generational impact have challenged us to rethink how we lead and the legacies we leave behind. I so admire Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. I know for anywhere you talk to, it's always been talked about. That's something about legacy. I hope some of us too can leave that particular impact in the country. Thank you, sir. To all newly invested fellows, tonight marks a defining milestone in our professional journey. You have been recognized for your exemplary contributions to leadership and governance. We urge you to continue upholding the core values of the Institute: integrity, excellence, and service as ambassadors of the M.CIoD brand. Let me say that I'll be one of the first persons to start knocking on your doors from tomorrow morning. The Institute really needs you now. We also extend our sincere gratitude to our sponsors, partners, and guests for their invaluable support, and to the Fellows and Awards Committee for their diligent work in delivering yet another successful investiture ceremony. But before I thank my colleagues, please, in the next 2 weeks is our annual Directors Conference. I'm especially inviting you from the 21st, actually, to 22nd and 23rd of October to Abuja Continental Hotel for the annual Directors Conference. And to my colleagues at the Secretariat, thank you for your professionalism, coordination, and dedication in ensuring the seamless organization of tonight's event. You've been wonderful. You've always been there. Thank you. Finally, to all our distinguished fellows and members, your continued trust and active participation remain the driving force of our collective success. Together, we will continue to build an institute that shapes the future of corporate leadership and governance in Nigeria and beyond. On behalf of the Council and management, I say thank you once again for gracing this memorable event. May the values we celebrate tonight continue to inspire us all to build legacies that transcend generations. God bless you all. God bless the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Please let's put hands together for our DG and CEO, Mr. Lausa. All right, with that, we come to the close of the 2025 Fellows Night and Investiture. We believe you've had a wonderful time. Merci beaucoup pour votre participation. Bonne nuit à tous. Odaro, kachifonu, akwana lapia, ala isaka muku da alheri.